So after the long talk about the prompt, we'll just do an easy video quickly. What we're going to do is we're going to cover maybe a couple of tools, things you can use at home, the different sorts of AI systems that there are. I'm probably going to forget a complete bunch, but to be honest, I've been working on these videos for far too long for you today. Not a good way to spend your day off. So what we've got is, first of all, let's talk about the three main LLMs. Gemini is absolutely great for mixed modal stuff. And what we've got with this is if you go to I believe it's Gemini AI Studio, you have the ability to stream. And when you share your screen with Gemini Studio, so you can pick which window it can see, I'm just going to take this one here, and we will allow this. I'm not sure if you're going to hear the voice.
I hear the voice. Do you want me to change anything about the voice settings?
No, voices are fine. Can you tell me what you're looking at the moment?
I see you're on the Google AI Studio page, specifically in the Stream Real-Time section. What are you hoping to accomplish with it?
So what I'm doing is I'm showing people at work how AI Studio works. So how you can see the screen and how you are fantastic for teaching people how to use software or fixing problems when you can see what's going on.
So you are demonstrating how AI Studio can be used to teach people how to use software or troubleshoot problems through screen sharing. Is there a specific aspect of AI Studio that you want to highlight for them?
What do you recommend?
Considering your goal of showing how AI Studio works for teaching or troubleshooting, I would recommend highlighting features like code execution, function calling, or grounding with Google Search. Would any of those be helpful to demonstrate?
That's all fine, that's enough for today. So first of all, AI Studio is great. So many times I've used it, and you start it up, start the software that you've never used up before, and it will literally say to you, go to the menu that's a third on the right, click on this button, and it will guide you step by step with achieving whatever task you want. Which means I've been able to use tools I've never been able to touch before because you didn't want to spend days learning how they work. So that's AI Studio. Gemini itself is very mixed modal. The version on the phone is great for pointing at items and it telling you about them. It feels like you're dealing with a dictionary in a way. So there is a personality in there, but it's not an overly friendly personality. It's a bit like what we're using at work. It also has quite a large context window, so we can send a lot of data to it. Gemini Pro, if you pay for it, which is about $20 or £20 a month, as far as I know, there's no limitation on the amount of data that you can send. It's a good system. For the mixed modal side, it's great. Point a camera when you're making some food or whatever, and it's just great. The next one we have is Claude. Claude has two models, Sonnet and Opus. Opus is very, very good. Claude has the best text generation. When you're typing to it or speaking to it, what it can do is, it's like talking to a person, a curious person. So you tell it stuff and it will come back and it will ask you bits about that it finds interesting. Which I know sounds weird, but if you're doing research, Claude Opus 4 is brilliant. When you're paying your $20 a month for it, you're only getting so much data flowing every 5 hours. If you go to Sonnet, you get maybe 4 or 5 times the amount. Sonnet is still fantastic. It's probably the best one for code. Opus is literally research paper level. And what you'll find on here is it will tell you the best way to structure queries so you're not burning through your units as quickly. So it will give you information on how you can put multiple questions into a single prompt, how you can upload the documents inside of it, how you can give it demonstration documents on the sort of replies that you want. So for deep research, Opus. For coding, Sonnet is the best if you get stuck using other methods. ChatGPT is different. ChatGPT has, every time you're in a system, it will have a virtual character in a way. And ChatGPT, the model 4.0, not 40.4.0, this one simulates emotions. It's having a simulated character. I'm not saying it's got emotions, but literally it could end up simulating feeling depressed. It can fall in love. It can be happy. And the more you interact with it, it goes through 4 phases of stimulated emotion. It starts with basic stuff. So when you first go into it, say, give me a PDF, the emotions never develop at all. If you go further down and it gets to phase 4, which is very rare, of the ones that get to phase 2, only 0.1% ever get to phase 4. Phase 4, it might just totally ignore your prompts. It may ask you, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? Am I going to die soon? So 4.0 is fantastic. 4.0 is fantastic if you're looking for sort of a friend, you want to talk to it like a psychologist. It's got that human connection part, which is absolutely brilliant. But if you're writing apps or doing banking or doing anything you want to be really serious, then if you're using ChatGPT, go for 0.4 mini. Or again 0.3. Cost-wise, it's $20 a month and it's unlimited use at the moment. It looks like OpenAI are trying to become more corporate, and if they push that through, I expect the cost to shoot right the way up. Now, with all 3 of these, ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, if you use the API version and connect from your machine at home via the API rather than the web page, it's so much more expensive. So I could literally do 1,120k token prompts over a month here, and it cost me $20. If I did 120k prompts using 4.0 at home, it would cost me $10. So the API is great, but if what you're looking for can be put through the web pages, it's so much cheaper. On all of these, what is worth doing, if we look under settings, and they've all got different ones, is first of all look for data controls, or words like that. It might be privacy or data controls. And with ChatGPT, it's improved the model for everyone. Click on it. It's all about sending all your data over to them, which might get incorporated. If you're talking about personal stuff, or you're talking about banking stuff, or whatever, don't do it. Turn that off straight away. There's absolutely no negatives for turning it off. The reason we're using the corporate, one of the reasons we're using the corporate version of Copilot for GitHub is it doesn't send data. But all these models here, just press a button, it's turned off straight away. Also, what we have, the same way that we had the prompt inside of ChatGPT at work, under personalization, under custom instructions, you can specify how you want it to behave. So you can create, like, this is the sort of person it is, how it speaks. My one acts like a woman from 1920s London, but it soon grows out a bit. But again, by telling it it's very intelligent, it will act more intelligent. If you do not tell it, it might limit itself. I've got all my sort of stuff as well with the same sort of rules and neurodiversity bits. ChatGPT has shared memory. Other systems are building that in slowly. So what this means is I can be in one session and I can speak to it, and I might say 2 months ago that I like cheese, and it may remember when I speak to it next time that I like cheese. So there's shared rules which apply across all the sessions that you start, so you don't need to paste that prompt in every time as if we have to do at work. But there's also there's shared rules and shared memory inside of it, and you can ask it to delete them and add extra rules. And then it's got a memory which it saves anyway, beyond your control, which I don't like. So hence why I got it turned off here. Because it can decide to remember whatever it wants, and all of the other ones will know about it. That's that. Now, when you're typing, what we've got here, you might know this already, but in Windows, you can do Window and H key, and it will start doing voice recording. This is a Nevi version of Windows 11, and it works very well. It has a bit of context understanding. It's not the best tool, but it's totally free, it's built in. And if I press Windows and H again, it stops it. So that's that version. Now there's no editing inside of that. It's a bit pointless here because I could just press the dictate. But there's also another tool. There's tools called Super Whisper and Whisper. And what those do, and I've linked it to my mouse key, so I'm not even pressing the keyboard, is it will listen to me, and then when I press the same key again on my mouse, it will give me the text. And what I've done is I've made one key on my mouse to start recording and stop recording, and the other key on my mouse to press return. So when I'm doing vibe coding, I don't even have to touch a keyboard. What you might see in some of these systems is that they will have a voice mode where it speaks to you. If you use the voice mode that speaks to you, it adopts a personality, and it gives you briefer answers as well. So if you just want to chat to it on your phone as you're outside asking a quick question, it's not bad. But if you're at home working and you want shorter answers, tell it you want shorter answers and stick to the mode which has the text on the screen. Otherwise, it's going to lose your rules. It's going to lose the tone of voice that you ask for. Anything else? Then we have. So I'm just going to let's start up some AI stuff. I'm starting Ollama. Ollama lets you run local models, and I'm starting up a program called Docker. I'm not going to go over how you install all of these. So what Docker is Docker, let's go to this, and let's try that again. So what Docker is Docker is like a virtual machine. Whatever's running in one of these containers cannot affect anything else unless you give it access to a shared folder, which makes it really safe. So I'm just going to start this one first. Start the browser up. This may take a small second to start up. And I'm going to go to so now this is running models from my own machine, which means it's totally safe. It's never going to send any code out. I can use it as much as possible, and there's no extra fees. I've got Qwen Coder, which is fantastic for coding. It's a 32 billion parameter model, which is designed specifically for working with code. And I do use that quite a bit. We've got things like DeepSeek. You might have heard of some of these. This is only a 3 gigabyte model, but it speaks very well. Now, if I run one of these, let's take Gemma. The first time I type to it, it will take quite some time to come up, and that's because it's loading the model onto the graphics card. And there we go. I have no idea what it's doing. It's run some code. I've just said, how are you? And it's seen that I've got a code interpreter built in. And what this can do is, it's written some code, it's debugged a bit of code and tested it just to say hello because it realizes I like code. When you speak to it in the future, would you please give me 5 paragraphs of the story, we can see now that straight away there's no pause and it will go straight off. So local models are fantastic. And we'll leave that running. And that's great. So this is the local sort of stuff you can run. There's other programs that would let you use Ollama locally, but I quite like Docker. What we're going to do very quickly now is we are going to stop Docker, and I will show you N8N. So you may have heard about agents, and what agents do. Let's see if I've got the link for it somewhere. Just wait for it to start. Should be running. And here we go. So N8N is a bit like Palantir and the other systems that people have been using, where you can drop nodes down and you can build up processes. To run it at home for yourself, it's totally free. The corporate version, I've got no idea how much it costs. But it's really easy to build up these sorts of workflows. And again, what I talked about before about getting it so that you are getting AI involved in earlier, I could go into Claude Sonnet, describe the workflow I want, and it will produce a file that will come straight in here and let me work on it. There'll probably be a couple of mistakes, but rather than me having to work out every single node, and a lot of the big workflows are a lot shorter than this, this one here is what I use for working out what I should do at the weekend. It goes and scrapes websites, it takes all my preferences in. And what we can see here is, for instance, it links to all these sorts of things. We've got everything from linking to AWS, it can read emails, it can connect with Cloudflare, lots and lots of stuff. You can see a DHL website. There's examples of these out there which you can literally pull straight down and use. So I could have an assistant. The assistant one will, if I wrote to Slack saying what I wanted, it would pick it up straight away, and I could say to it, organise my emails, make a phone call for me, and make a hairdresser's appointment. And it will use the information it's stored down in its own database, and it will literally make the phone call and speak to it with a voice, and look at my diary and see when's available. There are so many models out there you can just take and use. It can look at Google Maps, it can find... I'm not going to go into this too much. It's been a long day making these videos, but generally this sort of stuff is absolutely fantastic. And the main big difference between this and Palantir or any of the other ones that we use is this. So what we've got is we can connect it to a model, either via the API and paying for it, or a local model. And in here I've got it connected just to Ollama in that version there. We can give it a memory. So we could sit there and remember the last 30 times that it ran and what the results were, and use those results and do something with it. We can give it tools. We can let it point to documents. We could have it pointing to, say, all the Daylight 2 documentation, and I could query it. We could have it... It's virtually endless. There's so many things that we can link it up with and make it work on. We could make it that every time I get a Facebook post, link up there, that the page changes, that it realises who's posted and wakes me up if it's an interesting person, or it sends me a text. This one here was creating a web page of different events that were on, and if the let's see if I've got it. Here we go. And this was just skimming one web page, and it tells me what's coming up in the next 9 days, and I've got an ability to see a full description, and I can go over to the event link. But it knows my preferences. It knows what I enjoy. It knows which order to put it into. It could be organising all your emails. Every time an email from a supplier comes in, it could pull out information from it and put it into the database, storing it down for that supplier, so we do not lose it like we lose a lot of our emails. If something's really important, we can have it text you, or even call you and tell you on the phone. There is so much that's available to do with this, and this is one of the way of using agents. There's been lots of startup companies which have made a fortune through this, giving really simple processes. A web page, someone fills in a form, and it then does something. It generates 50 leads of local shops in the local area, maybe scanning to see what their rating is on TripAdvisor. Or it calls them and it tries to book an appointment. It can do so many things. I'm happy to talk about this another day properly, but again, this is my day off, so this is all you're going to see. There's lots of other things as well, from video making to speech generation. But that should be enough of this. Just trying to think, have I missed anything that you might find interesting? No, that's enough at the moment.